Dude, that looks sick. I gotta play it. I don't want to wait that long. Maybe I'll finally check out the series. Shit, that's a lot. Where do I even begin? Why are they so expensive? Worry not, my dear viewer. I have a gift for you. Hello everyone, today we are going to be going over the entire Silent Hill series. In this video, I'll go over all the games in release order to help you find the best starting place or more games to check out if you are already a fan of the series. I try to go in depth and cover everything the series has to offer so you can consume as much Silent Hill content as you want. Now, this series has some very high highs as well as very low lows. I'll give you descriptions of the general premise and gameplay so you can decide for yourself if you think something is worth checking out. I will also try to go over every version of the game to help you figure out the best way to play it. With all of that out of the way, let's get started. The first Silent Hill is a great place to start. While it's an older game, it does a great job of building atmosphere and telling an interesting story. In this PS1 classic, you play as Harry Mason. After a car crash, his daughter goes missing. You must explore this town to find out where your daughter is and fight off strange monsters that are hiding in the fog. The story is interesting, but be warned that it might not make perfect sense after your first playthrough. These games take a lot of inspiration from directors like David Lynch, so you will have to dig deeper if you want to know more. There are 5 different endings, so the game has some replayability. Now, one thing that might not make this the best place to start is the gameplay. This game uses tank controls, which can be jarring to someone who is only used to modern gaming. In defense of the tank controls, the difficulty in controlling the character adds to the horror. However, if you still don't want to use tank controls, there is a remake that was announced that you can wait to play instead. It's done by the same people who did the Silent Hill 2 remake, so I have high hopes the remake will be worth your time. The rest of the gameplay fits with the genre of survival horror. You will be collecting different melee weapons and guns throughout the game that you can use to attack monsters. Aiming isn't too difficult as long as you are facing in the general direction of the monster. The game will do the rest of the aiming for you so that you hit it. If you are still worried about it being too difficult with tank controls, there are difficulty settings at the start so you can play on an easier difficulty. Keep in mind that because this is a survival horror game, your ammo will be limited. Save points will be in different journals that you find that Harry writes in throughout the game. A majority of most Silent Hill games will be using maps that you find to check through all the rooms and look for key items to use in puzzles. There are a lot of puzzles scattered throughout the game, like the infamous piano puzzle. While it's really tempting to just look up a guide for these, I tend to do that a lot. Give it a try on your own for a bit, because if you can solve it, it's really satisfying. If you can emulate the game, that is the easiest way to play it, and that's the footage you're looking at right now. Owning it physically is extremely difficult, as the game costs at least $150 for just the disc alone, not even including the case and quality. If you are looking to add this game to your collection, I recommend just emulating the original and waiting for the remake to buy a physical copy. There is also a Game Boy Advance port of the game that changes it into a visual novel format. It was only officially released in Japan, though there are fan translations that you can find online. I don't recommend this version as it does not do justice to the original, and I definitely advise against this being where you start.
James, honey, did something happen to you? After we got separated in that long hallway? Are you confusing me with someone else? You were always so forgetful. Remember that time in the hotel?
In Silent Hill 2, you play as James Sunderland. He drives to the town of Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his wife telling him to meet her in their special place.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday. But you never did. Well, I'm alone there now. In our special place. Waiting for you.
This becomes strange when he explains that his wife died of an illness 3 years ago. James must explore the town to find his wife and along the way meet some interesting characters who are all in Silent Hill for their own reasons. Despite being the sequel, you do not need to play Silent Hill 1 to understand Silent Hill 2. The gameplay plays the same as Silent Hill 1, but the difficulty levels are slightly different here. Rather than picking between easy, normal, and hard, they split difficulty levels into 2 categories, action and riddle. Action will change how hard the combat is, and riddle will change how difficult the puzzles are. This helps to customize the experience. Another difference is the addition of the radio. This helps you to locate monsters. It will start playing static when you are close to one. At certain points, you'll be escorting one of the characters around the map. Make sure to protect her enough that she doesn't die, because if she does, it's game over. Save points are now located at red glowing squares, and when you click on them, James will stare into your soul. This game also features 6 endings, which makes for great replayability. I think that this is a good place to start and is arguably the most popular game in the series, a great story and similar gameplay to all of the Team Silent games. It's a great entry point to see if you'll like the series. There are a couple of ways to play Silent Hill 2. Most fans will tell you that the best way to play it is with a PS2 copy. However, this version tends to be around $150. For a newcomer to the series, that's a lot of money to put on a new game. There are a few ports, but these all come with their fair share of issues. The Xbox port of the game goes for $40 to $60, which is half the price of the PS2 version. If you have access to the console and aren't concerned with slightly worse graphics, this is a good way to get your hands on the game. The cheapest way to play would be to emulate it on PC. There are downloads of the PC port with fan-made patches as well as PS2 emulator versions. If you have a PC, it's a free way to get your hands on the game, and the fan-made mods help to fix some of the issues. If you still want to own a physical copy, the cheapest option would be the HD collection. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but honestly, I think this is a decent and cheaper way to start on the series. The HD collection was my first Silent Hill, and I was able to finish both Silent Hill 2 and 3. While it has its issues, and it's not as perfect as a PS2 copy, it's cheaper and also gives you access to Silent Hill 3, which on PS2 is a minimum of $200. So if you want physical copies or can't emulate the game, I do recommend the HD collections. If you play the HD collection, make sure to pick the old voices instead of the new. This will help you have a closer experience to the original PS2 version. The devs for this game tried their best, but they were given incomplete assets and limited time. If you want more info on all of the technical differences on these ports, I recommend this video. Now, there is one other version of this game I haven't mentioned yet: the remake. The Silent Hill 2 remake came out in October of 2024, and Bloober Team did a phenomenal job with this game. While I still have many games I'm going to be covering in this video, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think this game is my highest recommendation for where you should start. With this being the latest game to be released, it's the easiest for someone to get their hands on. As much as I love the older games, they tend to be really expensive and hard to acquire. The kind of games you see behind a glass case and all you can do is admire them from afar. Now, let's get into the differences in this game compared to its original. The most obvious are the graphics improvements. It looks gorgeous since it's made with modern technology. You can now move the camera around as it is a third-person over-the-shoulder perspective instead of a fixed camera angle. The game has the same difficulty settings as the original, being split between action and puzzle. It is all the same survival horror mechanics as the original, but you'll have to put a bit more effort into aiming since you have more control over the camera here. Some puzzles are different or missing, and some boss fights are slightly different than the original, but not in a bad way. They actually managed to enhance and add to some of the original boss fights, which I really enjoyed. Nothing in the story is drastically changed. There are small things here and there that are different, but the big story beats stay the same. Well, except for the pizza.
This town is full of monsters. How can you sit there and eat pizza?
The voice acting in this game is a little more grounded and realistic than the original. Some people prefer the uncanny, dreamlike voice acting of the original, but it's all personal preference. The voice actors in both versions of the game do a phenomenal job. The remake adds 2 new endings, bringing the total from 6 to 8. The endings are pretty much the same, except for some small changes in the UFO ending that I really enjoyed. Whether you're a fan of the original or new to the series, I highly recommend this game. It's available on PS5 and PC. In Silent Hill 3, you play as Heather Mason. You start by walking through a creepy amusement park. It's filled with pink bunny suits with blood and strange creatures that try to attack you. After exploring for a bit, Heather dies. Heather wakes up in a cafe to realize that it was all just a dream. She calls her dad, and then a strange man tries to talk to her. She goes to the bathroom and climbs out the window to get away. After sneaking away from him, the mall she's in changes and becomes infested with monsters. She runs into a lady named Claudia who starts rambling about God and other weird stuff.
I am Claudia.
So what?
Heather must survive the monsters and try to get back home. Now, this game is a direct sequel to Silent Hill 1, which you could probably tell from Heather being the daughter of Harry Mason. While it is recommended that you play the first game first, you also don't need to play it to enjoy this game. It really puts you in Heather's shoes, as you will have no idea what's going on and discover everything with her.
What should I do?
Hell if I know.
The order you play is up to you, but if you want to play as Heather for your first entry of the series, I'm not going to stop you. Story-wise, the biggest issue this game has is that the first half features long stretches with nothing adding to the plot, but after you get past that, a lot of the story will start unfolding. Once again, the gameplay and difficulty settings are the same as the last Silent Hill games. If you play on easy mode and still struggle with the game, there is an extra easy mode that the game will unlock for you. Don't ask how I know that. One fun thing to point out is the improvement in visuals, as the other world looks really good and unsettling in this game. Save points will be at these red symbols, and Heather usually usually has some sort of comment about each one. There are only 3 endings in this game, but there are lots of fun unlockables like outfits and new weapons that still make replaying the game enjoyable. As mentioned before, there are a few ways to play Silent Hill 3. The cheapest and easiest way would be to emulate the game on PC. However, if you are unable to emulate or want to own a physical copy, there are 2 options. The PS2 copy, which will be the best experience, but it's outrageously expensive and hard to find. If you want a physical copy, I once again recommend, please don't kill me for this, the HD collection. Now, unlike Silent Hill 2, this version does not give you access to the original voices. I believe this is because they lost the original voice actor recordings. I personally didn't mind the new voices and thought it was a good performance. While it won't look as good and still has its bugs, I was able to do a full playthrough and still enjoy the game. It's really up to personal preference and how much money you're willing to spend. Silent Hill 4, The Room, takes place in, you'll never guess, a room! Jokes aside, the game starts with the player waking up in a strange, rusted room. As you explore, the character will explain how this is the apartment, but a lot of things are different, like a TV being there instead of a record player. After looking around for a bit, a ghost will come crawling out of the wall, and then Henry Townshend wakes up. This is who you will be playing as throughout the game. As you explore the apartment, he will explain that he is stuck here, and no matter what he does, he can't leave. Calling for help isn't viable either, as the phone doesn't work and no one outside can hear him. You can look outside your apartment at other people through the windows and the peephole, but other than that, there's not much you can do. There's a fridge with chocolate milk, remember that, and a notebook in the living room. This is where you'll be saving your game. Unlike other Silent Hill games, you will only be saving in this room. There's also a box in the living room where you can store items. After exploring the apartment a bit, you will discover a hole in the bathroom. This is how you will be going between the apartment and the levels you explore. Now let's go into the gameplay. It has the same survival horror aspects as the last 3 games, except your inventory is limited this time. This is where the box in the room comes in and you will be storing items here. Some enemies are the same, but the newest and most controversial enemy is the ghosts. You cannot kill ghosts. All you can do is run from them. They can be very annoying, especially if you choose to play on a harder difficulty. You will need to run and avoid them as they will grab you and cause damage if you get too close. There are stakes that you can acquire that hold ghosts down, but these are very limited and I highly recommend saving these for much later in the game. Similar to the second game, there will be sections where you have to accompany characters. I recommend trying to protect them, but I won't say anything more than that. This game has 4 endings, but none of them are joke endings, so don't expect any UFOs to appear this time. There are a few ways to play this game. The most expensive option is the original PS2 version. This goes anywhere from $150 to $250. If you want a physical copy, the cheapest version is for Xbox, but that can still go up to over $100. The easiest way to play this game is through GOG. They have the game for $10, and that's the version I'm playing. It works pretty good and gives you a way to experience it before dropping a shit ton of money on a physical copy. The game's gameplay can be really frustrating at times, so I don't fully recommend starting with this one, but it has a great story and is still worth checking out if you enjoy the series. This brings an end to all of the Team Silent games. All of these are great places to start, but if you are looking for a little bit more, I'm going to talk about all of the games and spin-offs that came after. Warning, they do start to decrease in quality. Silent Hill Arcade is an on-rails shooter that shows all of the different locations and monsters from the series. It's difficult to play as most emulators require older computers for it to function. If you want to play this title for yourself, be prepared to struggle setting it up. Honestly, the game looks fun for an arcade game, and if I saw it somewhere, I'd probably play it, but I wouldn't put the effort into trying to emulate it at home. The game's story is decent for an arcade game, it has its own original plot, so it doesn't affect the surrounding universe, which is good. The voice acting is kinda shit, but it makes it more funny in my opinion. Surprisingly, the game also has multiple endings. Play this or watch it if you're a fan, but otherwise I don't think it's worth the struggle of setting up.
Who'd I just pass there? That you, good buddy?
Treetop tall and wall to wall. Travis, you messed up son of a bitch. What you doing on my road?
Late on a gig, bud. I'm taking the shortcut past Silent Hill.
Silent Hill Origins is a prequel to the original Silent Hill, made by a Western developer. In this game, you play as Travis, a truck driver who is taking a shortcut through Silent Hill. A little girl is in the road and he slams on the brakes. Get used to her just silently staring at you. She's gonna do that a lot. He comes across a house fire and saves a girl before passing out. After that, the game truly begins, and you start exploring the town to uncover the mysteries of Silent Hill. The gameplay in this is similar to past Silent Hill games except for the weapons. All of your melee weapons are breakable, which I found really annoying. Later on you can start stocking up on these, but when you're in a tough spot, it's hard to kill enemies with only your fists. When you fight an enemy, you normally need to do a finishing move to make sure they stay down after fighting them. However, most of the time I could not get it to trigger and therefore cannot finish off most of the enemies. Save points are cult symbols similar to Silent Hill 3. I found the combat more annoying than scary, and I just tried to run away from enemies unless I was trapped with the boss. This was improved when I started getting ranged weapons. Ammo is still limited, but I preferred that over the melee combat. This game also adds in QTEs, which weren't terrible. I was very neutral on them. The gameplay isn't anything special. I personally didn't enjoy it, but you might find it fun. The story overall is kind of predictable and not as interesting compared to past games. You'll start to notice that a lot of these Western developed games really want to be like Silent Hill 2, but never quite capture that feeling. The game is available on PSP and PS2. If you want a physical copy, I recommend getting a PSP copy because it is cheaper. I played the game on a PS2 emulator and it ran well, so I highly recommend that option as well. Play this game if you crave more content or want a Silent Hill game you can play on the go.
Josh! Don't let me fall! Bad dream?
Silent Hill Homecoming starts with Alex trapped in an otherworld hospital. He keeps running into his younger brother Joshua before eventually dying and waking up in a truck, which may or may not be driven by Travis from Origins. He comes home to Shepherd's Glen to find the town empty and spends the game searching for his brother. This game is very different in its combat. It introduces things like combos and dodges. To be honest, it doesn't work that well. Dodging ends up going in the wrong direction most of the time, and I didn't find the new combat that enjoyable. One thing it introduces that I liked was weapons being used to enter certain areas. Knives can cut through places, and steel pipes can be used to open things like a lock shelf for items. QTEs return in this game, but it's mainly for cutscene moments like breaking out of the straps at the start. Puzzles are in this game, but they aren't as interesting compared to past games. Save points are weirdly scattered. They'll either be in every other room or won't show up for an entire hour. This started to piss me off when I really wanted to take a break, but I couldn't save the damn game. One big element added is dialogue options. At certain times you can pick between dialogue options that affect the ending of the game, but don't worry too much about these because the only thing that really affects the ending are some choices at the end, and you will know when you get to those. So just pick whatever you want for everything else. The game has about 5 different endings if you decide you want to play it multiple times. Honestly, the plot here isn't super great. It's kind of aimless and a little predictable at times, so be prepared for that. The game is available for PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. This is one of the cheaper Silent Hills, so getting a physical copy is not as hard as past games. I am going to recommend against the PC version for this. For this video, I got Homecoming for $8 from Humble Bundle. It ran okay, but started having issues when I tried to leave the game to record on OBS. I didn't play long enough to run into any of the game-breaking bugs, but a lot of reviews mention crashing and issues with the port. It also doesn't have controller support, which is insane considering it's a PS3 game first. Why can't I use my controller on this? It's actually so stupid. If you don't have access to the consoles and you need to get a PC copy, please get it on sale. Shattered Memories is a reimagining of the first Silent Hill game. It starts with a car crash, but after that it's basically a completely different game where the characters just happen to have the same names. I think the devs had some good ideas for this game, but they couldn't get it made until they said it was sort of a remake of Silent Hill 1. I would have loved to see what the other versions of this game would have been like. The gameplay here is probably the most different out of all of the games so far. There's no combat. You have certain segments in the icy otherworld where you run from the monsters and use QTEs if they grab you. These chase segments were intense at the start, but as I started running in circles, I got really annoyed and they only got worse from there. I think if they were shorter and more detailed, would have been more interesting. Puzzles aren't really here, you just occasionally find a key to open a door. You can tell the game was made for the Wii because there's some point-and-click type gameplay. I honestly want to try it on there at some point because it's a little more immersive and might be more fun to play there. Saving is no longer in certain locations and is now on your phone. Your phone is also where you will get access to your map, make calls, and take photos of different things. Getting near certain areas will unlock extra messages as well. The lack of combat wouldn't really bother me if the environments were more interesting. It's cool at first because snowy Silent Hill isn't something that's really been done before. after that, it's just really bland. There's nothing really defined, and with small environments, I didn't feel as encouraged to explore. I normally prefer games with less combat, but when nothing else in the game is good, I just get bored. The big new gameplay element added here is the therapy sessions. It's similar to Until Dawn, where what you say will affect the game. However, the questions don't actually seem to change that much when I looked into it. Honestly, I think this game would have just been so much better if it were more like Until Dawn. Maybe this is just me, but if they could make the game without having to be a quote-unquote Silent Hill 1 remake and had gameplay and choices like Until Dawn, I can see the vision, but Konami's a bitch, so we got this instead. There are 5 main endings, but different things can change in the ending, which adds more variation based on how you do in therapy and how you act in the regular world. It's actually really interesting, and I wish the rest of the game was more interesting to really put these mechanics to use. This game is available on PS2, PSP, and Wii. The Wii version is going to be the cheapest option if you want a physical copy. I played this game on a PS2 emulator, and that worked out well, so I also recommend that if you don't want to spend any money on this. Overall, I have mixed feelings on this game. I respect it for trying something new, but I also just struggled to enjoy it. If it seems interesting to you, give it a shot. It's very different from the other Silent Hill games.
Revenge is a long, treacherous road, isn't it, Mr. Pendleton? Where do you suppose it ends?
What the hell's going on here, Rex? What is this place?
Wicked old beast, ain't she? Hope you find whatever it is you're looking for.
Downpour is the last of the mainline titles. You play as Murphy. It starts with him having a nightmare about murdering someone before he wakes up and is transferred to a new prison. But on the way there, the bus crashes, and this is where the game begins. In the menu, you will notice the old difficulty settings are back. You can choose your combat and puzzle level difficulty here. Combat feels slightly more normal again, but the monster designs are kinda lackluster. Chase sequences in the other world are back, but they are a lot better here than in Shattered Memories. You'll be running away from the void. I didn't get lost, and it actually felt quite tense. The first section at least is broken up a bit with a little mini puzzle area, and I liked the little record music that played. Okay, I lied a little bit about getting lost. I ran up infinite stairs for way longer than I should have. Side quests are also available in this game's world, so make sure to take the time to explore everything. Another gameplay element that returns is the dialogue choice system. There will be areas where you have to make important decisions that will affect your ending. This game has 6 endings in total, which makes for good replayability. The plot here is still nowhere close to the Team Silent games, but out of the Western developed games, I ended up liking this game the most. The endings were a little too vague, but I didn't get bored with the game's story or the gameplay as fast as the previous ones. If I were to recommend only one of these last 4 games, I would probably recommend Downpour. I don't really hate any of these games though, but I'm gonna cover that more in a bit. Silent Hill Downpour is available on PS3 and Xbox 360. This game is on the cheaper side compared to other Silent Hills, so it's not as difficult to get your hands on a physical copy. I played this game on the PS3 emulator and it worked great, so I highly recommend that. This wraps up all of the mainline Western releases. It's tough to enjoy these games, especially after playing the Team Silent games, because it's such a high bar to live up to. I think the reason I have such mixed feelings about these games is that I think they have a lot of potential, and in a different situation, they had the ideas to create something great, but none of these games are that bad, but it feels worse when comparing to other Silent Hill games. Start with the Team Silent games, but if you want more to play, still give these a shot. These developers had some bold ideas that they tried out, and it's worth seeing the great parts that are in these games. Now, on to the rest of the spin-offs and oddballs in the franchise. Book of Memories is a dungeon crawler made for the PlayStation Vita. You create your own character and then you run around fighting things, and there's technically a plot, but not a very interesting one. At this point, I wouldn't even call it a Silent Hill game. I have not played it, but most people have said it's not even a good dungeon crawler. Get this game if you want something new for your Vita, but it's like $60 to $80. I'd say it's not worth investing in unless you're determined to collect the whole franchise. Put that money into the PS2 games instead, much better to have on your shelf. Are you fucking kidding me? Lowest point here. They made a gambling machine, so now you can play slots with Silent Hill on it. Woo! If you couldn't tell, the Konami people are greedy bastards. This should be all the proof you need. Never mind, we are so back. Never mind, I lied. Many people have heard of the game demo PT. For those of you who don't, let me give you a short summary of what happened. A demo released by what was later revealed to be a fake company was released on the PlayStation Store. It was an amazing game, and despite being just a short teaser, it's still influencing games today. Once you beat this playable teaser, a trailer for the game plays, revealing it to be Silent Hills. A new game by Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro is the next big installment in the series. It looks like it would have been perfect, but for reasons I'm not going to go into, this game just got cancelled. And not only did they cancel it, they removed the demo from all the stores. Just poof, gone. Finding out about this game has been one of the most infuriating things because we will never get to see Silent Hills. I saw rumors that it was like 70% done and that Junji Ito might have helped with the art. A literal dream team of creators. This video goes in depth on the topic, so I highly recommend it. Go check it out if you want the full story. People have remade the game in Unreal, that's how I played it, so you can try playing it, so I recommend that, or watch a playthrough just to see what we could have had. On the topic of demos, one short free game was released on the PS5. It's not the greatest game, and it can sometimes be a little in your face with its messaging, but it's free, so I still recommend checking it out. Like many entries, it's not perfect, but it has its good moments. Not to mention, this monster design is gorgeous, and I would kill to get my hands on the figure. To wrap up the games in this series, I'll briefly touch on the mobile games. There were quite a few mobile games, but most of them aren't available on the App Store anymore, and honestly probably aren't worth trying to play anyways. Silent Hill Ghost Town Games was the only mobile game I could still find on the App Store. Honestly, this shit has gotta be lying, because there's no way it's actually a Silent Hill game. It probably just sold the title so people would download it. When I went on, it's called Scary Girl 3D. It's ugly, and I got so many ads it was unplayable. Just ignore any and all mobile games, it's not worth it. This wraps up all of the games currently released in the series. Now, in case you want more, I'm going to go over some of the other media Silent Hill has released. IDW published a bunch of Silent Hill comics, most of which aren't really worth reading, but the latter ones, Sinner's Reward, Past Life, and Anne's Story, which are all written by Tom Waltz, those would be the ones I'd check out if you really want to look at the comics. There were some comics made by Team Silent, but unfortunately it's difficult to find pages online in Japanese, let alone English. Next, I'll go over the movie adaptations of Silent Hill. The first movie in this franchise is Silent Hill, loosely based on the first game. And yes, there is more than one of these movies. Not a very accurate adaptation, especially when this guy shows up, but they managed to capture the vibes of the first game pretty well, and I ended up enjoying it. It's a fun watch, so give it a try. Silent Hill Revelations 3D is one of the most unintentionally funny movies I've ever seen. Is it good? Not at all, but I had way too much fun watching this. The movie's supposed to be Silent Hill 3, but they kinda fail at that. The monster designs look stupid and the writing is horrible. The cast is stacked though. I spent the entire movie being like, wait a damn minute. Jon Snow, Ned Stark, how many famous people are in this damn thing? I also watched this movie before I watched the first one, because fun fact, it is free to watch on YouTube. The only con is that it censors out a lot of the violence. It's a stupid campy movie that would be fun to watch and make fun of with a group of friends. Return to Silent Hill is the upcoming movie based on Silent Hill 2. Yes, they decided to try and make a third film, but this time it's Silent Hill 2. The trailer looks bad, I'm gonna be honest, but you bet your ass I'm gonna be seated in January to watch this train wreck of a film. If it's anything close to the level of bad the last movie was, at least I will have fun pointing and laughing at this movie. There's also a Silent Hill TV show, but not in the traditional sense. It was an interactive series that aired for a couple of minutes every day for 6 months, and the website no longer has most of the old horrible features on it. I won't go in depth on why this was bad, but the chat had zero moderation. The only words that were banned were Hideo and Kojima. There was also a $20 battle pass for a show. I recommend this video if you want to see what this dumpster fire is all about, but if you hate yourself, the entire show is still up on the website and on Tubi. And with that, we have covered all release titles for the Silent Hill franchise. I'll take a quick moment to go over upcoming titles so you know what to look forward to. Silent Hill F is releasing later this month, or it's already out if I took too long to finish this video. I have this game pre-ordered and will be streaming it on my Twitch, so if you want to see the game, follow me there, it will be a fun time, trust. As mentioned earlier, the movie Return to Silent Hill comes out in January 2026. Silent Hill Downpour is the next spin-off game in the series. It has one trailer and currently has no release date. Bloober Team has also announced that a Silent Hill 1 remake is currently in development, but also no release date at this time. I'm also going to take a quick second to once again recommend all of these YouTube videos. This is great content to watch and it helped me a lot while I was researching for this video. They are long, but also make great videos to watch while you eat. I hope this guide has helped you start on the series or find some new Silent Hill content to enjoy while we wait for new titles. I'm planning on covering the Resident Evil series next before RE9 comes out, so let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in seeing that or if there are any other series you want me to cover. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Your support means a lot to me and I would love to make more videos for y'all. I'll be streaming the new Silent Hill on my Twitch, so please follow me there as well if you wish to see that. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!